What's up, everybody? It's Late Night Keefe here from Milwaukee. How you doing? I'm on Central Time for a change. Took me a while to figure out that Milwaukee is actually Central Time. I, for some reason, thought it was Eastern Time, but what are you gonna do there? I don't know. Um, how's everybody doing tonight? It's Friday morning. Normally, this show is Thursday night, but it's Friday morning. I'm not quite sure I'm live everywhere. But I'm going to try to do a truncated version of the show because that's how we do. Let me just make sure I'm on the tick of the talk, see if there's any real ones there, overnighters, etc., etc. Nope, that's not what I wanted you to do. But yeah, I'm in Milwaukee from Milwaukee Metal Fest. I just came basically a few hours ago. I got back from the first night, the pre-party, mostly for VIPs and press. It was amazing, and I have a lot of fun stuff to talk to you about that festival. But yeah, it's been a whole ass thing, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Just give me one more second. I'm trying to get situated here on TikTok because I like hanging out on TikTok. We're probably moving to Riverside next year in case StreamYard doesn't get it. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. Let's do the damn thing. And then we'll be live everywhere. But welcome in TikTok and Instagram to. Well, Gabe is here. What's up, brother? I was at the show when you messaged me earlier. And I was ensconced, as they say. Looks like my signal is better today, so that's cool, as opposed to yesterday when I did the Milwaukee Metal Fest preview. But yeah, still don't quite have the sound in my ear properly, but whatever. Anyhow, I wanted to do our show, so let's get into it. I'm a little tired and low energy, but good enough. Feel free to hang out, ask questions. This is your show too. We always start with the announcements. We had a lot of celebrity deaths this week. I didn't get to it in the deck, but very sad to see Peebo Bryson died. Incredible R&B singer, and also a lot of Disney soundtracks. A lot of people, their childhood is probably fucking ruined. Planet Rock and Roll passing through. What's up? What's up? What's up? Signal magazine also passed by. Oh, I went too far. I got so far, and in the end, it doesn't really matter. Let's just do this. Let's just begin the thing. Mac Talica's here. What's up, Mac Talica? So yeah, album of the month is COC. We're moving into a new album of the month for June next week. Stay tuned for that. But do check out COC, Good God, Bad Man. We've been talking a lot about that record. I had a conversation about it after the night of the show tonight. This one bummed me out. Mareed, I'm probably going to say this name wrong, Sijum, who used to write the Persephone graphic novel, passed away. I hope I said that correctly. Chris Chiappini is here. Keith853 is here. I'm technically a Keith also. Metal Mike McCauley, a hardcore Mike from New York City, a bunch of bands. He passed away, very tragic, around my age. Harold is here. What's up, Harold? Good to see you again. Jessica Cat is here. We're going to talk a little bit more in the news. Sonny Mayo, formerly of Snot and Seven Dust, had a triple bypass surgery after a massive heart attack. He seems like he's going to be okay. Long road of rehab ahead of him. But hey, Eli, what's up, brother? Good to see you. After you popped into our stream the other day, Eli, were asking about if Holy Grail would ever come back, which I know is hard to do, but you'll love to see it. And also the horror and heavy metal madman, YouTuber and TikToker and music personality. He passed away. He didn't pass away. Excuse me. He had a massive heart attack, and he was on life support, but he had a surgery. He almost passed away. He has not passed away, but there's a GoFundMe's for both Sonny and the horror metal madman. I will link all those in the description shortly if you want to donate. Snowflake, what's up? What's up? Sorry about that. I misspoke. All right. Also celebrating birthdays this week, as you know, Kerry King and Tom Araya of Slayer have a birthday. It's also the International Day of Slayer this week, and do celebrate by playing Slayer as loud as possible and screaming Slayer. But yeah, do the thing. Do all the things. Hard to believe celebrating a 30th anniversary is Metallica's Load. I don't know if any of you were alive when it came out. Harold, I suspect you were a little younger than that, but 30 years of Metallica's Load. I remember being an old school Metallica fan at the time, being shocked by Until It Sleeps. Good song, ultimately, at the end of the day, but it was just a lot to take in and process. The music is different. The guitar sound was changed. I care less about their hair and makeup and Lars and Kirk making out than I cared about just the stylistic musical change. But let me know in the comments if you came around on Load or if you still hate it. I know people that hate the Black Album also, like hate it. Token is here. Alexa Artistal LLC is here. Boss Anthony. Motorhead. Another Day. This record was featuring Brian Robertson of Motorhead. Oh, Brian Robertson joined Motorhead. He was in Thin Lizzy and a bunch of other killer bands, but that was the first record with him in Motorhead, and it was kind of like a melodic hard rock, but still Motorhead, you know? I liked it. Ooh, man, Trigger Finger is crazy tonight. The classic Entombed Left Hand Path was released this week in 1992, a record I jammed a lot in junior college. Dimmu Borgir's Enthroned Darkness Triumphant came out, a landmark symphonic black metal album to me. Ozfest 97 launched on June 1st in America on this week. I went to Ozfest 97. Kids these days will never understand seeing like Pantera hit the stage after Marilyn Manson, which was honestly kind of anticlimactic now that I think about it. And Pantera came out, and fans, this was in the old Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Now it's MetLife Stadium. They blew up one and built up the other. And the fans just literally leaped off the bottom ring of the stadium to flood the crowd. And it was like the security was just overwhelmed. It was a pretty incredible time. Ozzy and Black Sabbath, Ozzy headlining over Black Sabbath. I think Puffy Borden of Faith No More played drums. Typo Negative, Corrosion Conformity, Machine Head, Power Man 5000, Train STH. A few years before Slipknot would be on there. Megadeth's arguably worst album, honestly, Super Collider. I think it's actually worse than Risk, in my opinion. Pretty terrible album to me. Hell Yeah, Undeniable. It's funny, at the time, this artwork would have been considered an AI thing today. Garlantico is here. What's up, Garlantico? Miss Vinnie Paul. Disturbed's also Undestructible, Undeniable. I don't know. Too many albums that sound the same. Disturbed. Queens of the Stone Age, like clockwork, the first of their Matador Records trilogy came out this week in 2013. We lost Quorthon of Bathory 22 years ago today. It's great to see his legacy cherished and celebrated around the world. including at the Beyond the Gates Festival every year, but super sad. Lizzie Borden, Tear You to Pieces album came out. Pretty interesting. Sodom's probably best album still is Agent Orange. Oh, sorry, Agent Orange, yep. Not to be confused with Agent Orange, the band. No co-hosts here. Eric Vaughn is here. What's up, Eric? Mental Mindset is here. Creator Phantom Antichrist. This was last time I interviewed Frederick Leclerc, so technically this is the last time I interviewed Mile Petroshka. But Creator, good record by Creator. You know, they're pretty solid. Yeah, they have some great albums. They have some not so great albums. Heavy Metal Parking Lot was released this week in metal, and that one guy with the tiger stripe, zebra stripe bodysuit is still one of the sassiest queens ever to live, and I love him. Punk can go to hell. It's like from another planet, man. He's like the Spicoli of heavy metal. He's incredible. This is pretty interesting. Metallica Danzig Suicidal Tendencies kicked off their live tour. And I remember we had already gotten, my friend group and I had already gotten tickets to Woodstock 94. I've done videos on Woodstock 94 and podcasts on it, and Woodstock 99 if you're interested. But I remember we had like so tapped out from the Woodstock ticket. Was like the most expensive thing I had ever bought at that time, like 100. Seems crazy now to think about it, $135, but it was astronomical at the time for me. But so we didn't go to this, and I know Danzig did Green Hell with Metallica, which Last Caress and Green Hell. I would love to have seen that with Suicidal opening. White Lion on June 1st, 1987, released their best and biggest hit song, Wait, a hair metal classic that transcended hair metal to mainstream rock. Here's the tip menu as usual. You can give us a super that or a super thanks or a super chat or hype us up on YouTube, but you know, you can buy us a coffee on Ko-fi. We take Venmo. You take your mama's gold dentures. It's all good, yo. It's all good. Send me your money. Ooh, up late, Keefe. 1:37 Central Time. Alan Stolz is here. What's up? What's up? Debo Jackson. Yeah, Lizzie Borden, I was never a huge fan of. They're all right, you know? They're all right. They have some moments. I know a lot of people enjoy them. Anyway, there's our Cash App if you're interested. All right, now it's time for the features this week. And we have some big ones. If you were around yesterday, you saw me jump on and preview the entire Milwaukee Metal Fest weekend. I'll be here all weekend. If you see me at the show, say what's up to me. And I might have some Ghost Cult merch to give out for free. I'm also going to do some interviews with bands, so I'm pretty pumped. This was amazing. I interviewed Craig Worden. You know him best from Shudder to Think. He's also, at this point, a legendary composer of television and film. He did the Yellow Jackets music score for that TV series. And we talked about his new deluxe version of his album, The Dream Dreaming. And pretty great. Pretty great time to talk to a guy that I've looked up to for like 30 years. Also talked to Chris Elliott of Ghost Cult. You know him from his brands Cell Arts and Black Angeles. He is all over YouTube and TikTok. He goes to concerts and films whole sets of bands for science and metal. I love Chris. Chris is great. We talked about charity. He's a veteran. Guy's goals, if you really want to do something with your life. It's a good example to follow. Just some other interviews we had recently. Joe the Butcher Nicolo. He put rap groups on the map like Cypress Hill, Nas, the Fugees, Lauryn Hill's solo big album. And he also produced a bunch of punk and metal, including Anthrax, one of my favorite Anthrax records, Stomp 442. I can't wait to hear John Bush sing some of those songs. Gozu, Mark Gaffney. Gozu's got a great Stoner Doom new album out now, Gozu 6. King Ultra Mega, I got to interview Braun of Mastodon along with Mark Mengi again from King Ultra Mega and Metal Allegiance. Terrific. And also Sun Don't Shine with members of Crowbar and Typo Negative and Down. And also we interviewed Napalm Death. So we have something for every taste of rock and metal fan. We have a lot of killer stuff going on and a bunch more in the pipeline. My other podcast, the Glacially Musical Podcast, has started a new series on Deicide. The first 4 albums of Deicide. So we're going to talk death metal. Thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate y'all who are here. LR, thanks for being here. And Harold. So yeah, check out our new series on Deicide. Would be interesting to say the least. What else? Also, this show is a podcast, the Ghost Cult Magazine podcast, and we're gonna have a bunch of killer content I'm gonna put together from Milwaukee Metal Fest. So check it out. And now it's time for the news rundown. I'll re-begin myself. Hey, it's me. I just realized this is the first time in a long time my vest is behind me. If you guys watched my other interview videos or this show a couple of years ago, I used to hang my battle vest behind me in my apartment. I'm obviously not home. I'm in Milwaukee in an Airbnb. And what's up, Will by Design? I'm glad you're here. So yeah. Thanks, Harold, for all those likes and things. I just put up a goal on TikTok. I never seem to do these things right, but let's do the news rundown. We always start the news rundown with metal festivals, and guess what? I'm at Milwaukee Metal Fest all weekend, so it's going to be incredible. I did a whole preview of it. You can check that out after, but Acid Bath tomorrow night is going to be magical for me. Killswitch Engage, always a banger time. I was actually in the photo pit for the return of Jesse Leach to Killswitch Engage 13 years ago. And then Sunday is Ministry with tons of other bands. So it's going to be absolutely crazy. And I can't wait. I'm pumped. This is my second festival of the year. We are also covering Satan Fest in Iceland. My homie, Suzanne A. Matthews, who normally is on hand and camera in hand in the Netherlands, flew to Iceland. You do want to see Ministry, Will. They've been playing all of Filth Pig. I don't know what kind of set list I'm going to get tomorrow. Last year, they were doing the Squirrely Years, old school set. Al finally made peace with himself to be able to do that material. As he is claiming, they're going to finally retire. He's working on a new album with Paul Barker. Paul has been on tour with the band. Chicago is right near Wisconsin, so I'd be just happy to get any set list. And if you didn't know, Will, Ministry's current lineup is like an Avengers assemble of people, not just Al, who's incredible, and Barker might come out and do some keys or bass. Paul D'Amore, formerly of Tool, the bassist on Undertow, is on bass. Monty Pittman, Pepe is on drums from King, like an incredible band. So Satan Festival is primarily an extreme and black and death metal festival. So it's going to be rad. We announced Riot Fest last week. Those tickets are on sale now. Yeah, man, I got to interview Paul before he joined Ministry. He had a band called Reign of Kindo, which sounded a lot like Tool. Kind of the same way Soen is progressive metal and kind of sounds a little like Tool. And then he joined Ministry. And Ministry has had some of the best players in history. Mike Shaka of, formerly of Rigor Mortis was on guitar for a long time. He really gave Ministry that Land of Rape and Honey, Psalm 69 guitar tone. And, of course, Paul Raven, formerly of Prong, was in Ministry, rest in power. Riot Fest tickets are on sale now. And again, still the wrong Riot Fest poster. This poster is bugging me out. Heavy Psych Sounds London. I don't know what this is what the final design of this is, but I want a wizard to be like laser beaming me with his laser green eyes. I have a vinyl from all these bands: Black Rainbows, Acid Mammoth, The Cosmic Dead, Cyclona, Fire Breather. I've done a big interview with them a couple years ago, and Mr. Bison, and many more coming. Also Ripple Fest Texas got announced. Yob, Chemist, Greenleaf, who's doing that big U.S. tour. Dope Throne, Kal El, Daley Thompson, Zed, High Desert Queen, and many more. That shit looks fantastic. And again, tons of rock is coming up soon. Bring Me the Horizon, Offspring, Iron Maiden, Alice Cooper, Anthrax, Youngblood, Limp Bizkit, Behemoth, Tom Morello, Sepultura, and many more. I'd be there for at least one night, but I'll be in Indy to meet Gene Simmons on Saturday. That's interesting. I'd love to know what that is like. I grew up a humongous Kiss fan. I was in the Kiss Army at 4 years old, painting my face, and Paul and Gene make me scratch my head with some of their behaviors, including shitting on Ace after he died. But I can't believe it's still a year for Ace. I'm not ready for Peter to go anywhere. Please, Satan, don't take Peter away. But don't take my Peter away. Rob Peake Jr. is here. What's up? The Fall of Adam is here. What's up? What's up? So tons of rock. Maryland Death Fest has announced their first bunch. They just had their Maryland Death Fest, and they have their first bunch of bands announced, including Enslaved playing all of their first album, Viking Beckluder, Candlemass, Acrecock, Voivod, Sabat, Dolcandra, Demolition Hammer from my hometown, Fried, Exhume doing a special set. This shit looks great. What else? Also, rock. Since I'm in the Midwest, I'm getting shown ads and posters for Midwestern things. Rock Lansing is coming to you soon in August. Non-Point, Power Band 5000, Soil, Dead, Blacktop, Mojo. I like all those bands. Heartsick, and a bunch of other bands. Yeah, to meet Gene, that's cool. Gene is your musical hero. So I figured, yeah, right on. Gene, I played bass in bands for many, many years. Gene's bass style, even for the 70s, is very distinctive. He's often shattered on. He is a big mouth and he's a dumbass, but he's not lacking talent. Certainly not on bass and vocals. So his lyrics might be terrible, but he's a pretty great bassist, actually. All right, that's all the festival news. Let's do the regular concerts. Again, Metallica continues their no repeat weekends and European tour. Danzig finally announced those tour dates with Twin Temple. We shall see if other bands are being announced. I said before, if you count Louder Than Life, this is the most touring Gene will have done. Oh, sorry, Danzig and Gene, same guy. This is the most touring Danzig will have done in a long time. He normally doesn't do more than 5 or 6 shows on a tour. Still surprised Misfits. I know they were Slayer, T South America. I'm still surprised that Misfits haven't done more touring. We'll talk some more Mastodon in a second, but Mastodon announced the Poisonous Weapon tour with Def Evan and Alcest. I would expect by later in the year we'll get an announcement of a new Mastodon record for either late in the year or early 27. All Shall Perish is on the Price of Existence 20th anniversary tour. I will go to see this here in Milwaukee when they're part of Milwaukee Metal Fest. Speaking of Anthrax and John Bush is Armored Saint, along with Metal Church, have announced a co-headline tour. Not too thrilled with the deal at Metal Church right now and how they handled their lineup changes. It's their prerogative, but I don't have to like it. I'm sure the new record will be solid. Kurt is a great guitar player and songwriter. All right, that's the halfway point of the show. Let's also do a little business. So that's the tip menu once again. If you feel like being tipsy, Fable Beard, man. If you want to hook up, you look at my beautiful beard. My beard is doing better than it has in my whole life, and that's because of Fable Beard. And also, I went to the festival tonight, and I ran around. I went to the Brewers game today, the Milwaukee Brewers Giants, and did not. It was hot as fuck. I live in San Francisco, and it's usually very cool and windy there, and it was like 84 degrees, and I never sweated the whole day because of Fable Beard deodorant, and my beard was also because of Fable beard balm. Yeah, man, I think Bush is going to do more touring next year or later this year between Armored Saint and his solo stuff. And I'm sad that I'm a humongous Anthrax fan. As you can see, Anthrax is my back patch here. Kind of right behind me is my battle vest, and that's Among the Living. And I remember when Joey came back in, and he was like, "I'll do all the John Bush songs. I love John's voice." So I'm a little sad that he didn't get to do more John Bush stuff because it's a whole era of the band they don't kind of support. Anyway, Fable Beard, check out our link in the description for a discount on your first order. Also, we're part of the Lamb Goat Network. Lamb Goat's the much meaner version of Ghost Cult. If you need an ad campaign, you can come to Ghost Cult, but you can also go to Lamb Goat. And again, shout out to my homie Craig Caruso of Caruso Apps and Web Services. I would not have a business without Craig. We'd be out of business. Totally out of business. All right. And except for you guys on TikTok, we're doing this on StreamYard. So that's the magic of StreamYard. Hey, switched over to YouTube. Thanks, Gabe. I appreciate you. Yeah, kind of Instagram is quiet. Again, what gives people feelings of power? I have that on vinyl. I say that all the time. All right. Big news stories of the week. Let's dish it up. Last week we told you, last couple of weeks we've been talking about this Aussie AI thing. The new kerfluffle is that the Aussie's memoir, I Am Aussie, got entered into the record of Congress in the National Archives. And so a lot of people just saw a picture pop up with Sharon and Jack and Amy and a bunch of politicians. But actually, I think this is actually a pretty cool thing. Ozzy is being recognized for his memoir as being significant and important because he's a significant and important member of American culture. So I think that's really cool. But I know that people were just mad about a picture with Sharon and Jack and Amy with Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House. He's arch conservative, very religious Christian conservative, and I think all these politicians are terrible. Doesn't matter what party, but he might be especially terrible. Anyway, so Mastodon, new song, Your Ghost. Again, I talked about the tour dates a couple of minutes ago. This song is brilliant. It's beautiful. It made me sad. It almost made me want to cry. Very catchy. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of Opeth at the end, like the newer Opeth stuff that's kind of progressive rock and stoner rock. I thought it was pretty great. 68 continues their farewell tour. And this is pretty interesting. We ran our review of that show from about a week and a half ago. This is their farewell tour. They're going on to new musical projects. And people have been asking if Josh Scoggins is going to join Better Lovers because he's friends with those guys. And it seemed like he would be a natural and his other band is ending. So maybe he would join Better Lovers, but he said no. He posted to Instagram on it. He wrote on the neck, and I am not joining Better Lovers, but I like those guys. And I'm going to start a new band. That is not with Better Lovers, guys. What else? Wes Borland finally got his own signature Jackson. He's been playing those guitars forever. Pretty cool. This is Bear McCreary. I don't know if you know Bear McCreary. You definitely know his soundtracks and scores, including theme songs to Battlestar Galactica's sci-fi series about 25 years ago, Lord of the Rings Rings of Power series on Amazon, and of course, The Walking Dead theme song. So Bear McCreary had put out a rock album just about 3 years ago, and it is incredible. Harold saw John with Anthrax in Iowa. Dude, I saw them so much with Joey and John, and I love Anthrax. They're one of my favorite bands. And John is like literally a personal hero to me as a vocalist. But Bear McCreary has a new solo album coming out soon, and it's a banger. Stay tuned for some more singles and other news. Corinne Westbrook's horror novel, The Hollow One, is out now. I thought you should know. This is pretty interesting. Emma Ruth Rundle, who I love, kind of dark folk and adjacent things, some drone and stuff. Her announced a new album that's coming out on her own record label. She used to be on the particularly controversial Sargent House label. They're less controversial now, but they're still a thing. But she's on her own label now. Dead White. I don't like this name, but Dead White is the new band from Greg and Derek Tribbett. Greg Tribbett, of course, is from Mudvayne, who is on hiatus. And his brother Derek used to be a vocalist and guitarist for some new metal bands. Speaking of Maryland Death Fest that I talked about earlier, announcing their first bunch of stuff for 2027, Cancer, who is one of the greatest British death metal bands, their singer couldn't make the show, as well as some of their gear was lost traveling to America. And they basically had instead of canceling, which most bands would have done, because most bands don't want to play the show without their full complement of people and gear, but they basically got a bunch of people to fill in. So that's killer, in my opinion. That's resilience. You local bands got to learn how to do that. Emos, I usually put this kind of news in the concert section, but Emos in Austin is going to move to a new venue, and the old venue is going to be a new venue taken over by AEG, who is next to Live Nation, the second biggest concert promoter and owner of venues in the country. Really hoping Live Nation is run out of business. This is Guides. A couple of weeks ago, we premiered their new song, Drain. Now they have a new music video for it out, kind of post-hardcore power trio. Here's Butcher Babies, now only led by Heidi Shepard since Carla Harvey quit. They have a brand new single out and a new album coming on their label. What is that? Judge and Jury Records, run by Howard Benson, the great producer. Meshuggah, I only have one of them here, but Meshuggah is going to do a vinyl reissues of Catch 33 and Destroy, Erase, Improve. Probably worth picking up. That's coming in late July. If anybody wants to get me a wedding present or an early birthday present. And again, the Paul Di'Anno, the lost singer of Iron Maiden documentary came out today. I don't know yet where you can watch it, but it started to premiere at a bunch of indie movie houses. Check your local indie movie theater for documentaries and cool films that are not blockbuster stupidity, most of which are terrible. All right, we whipped through the whole show in a very manageable 33 minutes. We still have a little bit more to go. So let's talk about New Music Friday. New music out this week. Let's talk about it. I like I said, I've been kind of at a loss at what to do with this section. I still feel like it's important. It was 100 records that came out last week, over 100 records and EPs last week. So let's just talk about the new music that came out for this week. Let's see. New music out for June 5th, 2026, out today. The 69 Eyes, I Survived, new album on there, First for Black to Black. 100 Demons, Embrace the Black Light, great record. Unclosed Casket Activities. A.A. Williams' new album, Amazing Solstice, on Raining Phoenix Music. Abysmal, Growls of Despair, Torn on Wormhole Death Records, definitely a death metal album. Aluna and Semivayo, Embers of Relief Split EP on Heavy Psych Sounds for some psychedelic rock. Balsagoth, No God, No Savior, Putrid Cult Records for some black metal. August Burns' Red, new album, Season of Surrender on Fearless Records. This is great. I'm waiting for this to show up in the mail. Blood Incantation, All Gates Open, original soundtrack. That movie is also going to be out soon. Brooke Hardy, who we did an interview with, good attendance at Sunday School, coming soon. Converge's second album of 2026, Hum of Hurt, on Death Wish and Epitaph Records. Syra, which is an all-star group of former members of melodic death metal bands, but most notably former members of In Flames, Requiem for a Pipe Dream, also on Reigning Phoenix. Devils, by definition, Devil's Night with a Z, Self-Made Records. Diathist, Cosmic Liar, self-release, that's cool. Dope Lord, great band, Sign of the Devil re-release on Season of Mist. Drowning Pool Sinner re-release. It's 26 years since 26 years since that came out. Dwarves' new album, Jekum, on Greedy Records. Evanescence' new album, Sanctuary, on BMG. Evergrey, the great melodic death metal, death doom band, Architects of a New Weave, on Napalm Records. I think that's their first for Napalm Records. Fucked Up, continuing their trilogy of albums named for Chinese New Year's. Year of the Monkey on Tank Rhymes Records. Godless versus Parousia on Nuclear Winter Records. Guilt Trip, A More of Angels on Roadrunner Records. Gert, Survival of the Shittiest EP on Planets Collide Records. Halcyon Days, Nothing to No One, Someone to Someone, Something to Someone, sorry. Inside Out, music for some prog. Let's see what else. Magafa, Legion, death metal. Man Eating Orchid, Cold Logic on Subcontinental Records for some psychedelic rock. My Own Will, we premiered their last single. Their new EP is out now, Misery EP on Blood Blast. Let's see. Revolting Supernatural Anthems on Extreme, music for some death metal. Shane Embry's first solo album under his own name from Napalm Death. Bridge to Resolution on Dissonance Records. Sleep Bomb, Songs in the Key of Conan. That's a Bay Area band, San Francisco band. I know those guys. Urcroft, Naturnes Skirik on Dust Tone Records for some black metal. Veins, A New Forever, self-release. Voivod, Symphonique on Century Media Records, done with the Quebec Symphony Orchestra. Amazing. Wes Parker, Super Rare, Big Machine Rock. And Xenosis, Hermetic Transmutation, Transcending Obscurity Records for some death metal. That is a pretty good roundup of stuff. And I don't have anything for the mailbag, but I'm going to show you two things that I did get at the festival. Again, if you're at Milwaukee Metal Fest and you see me, I know I'm just another fat beardo at a battle vest, but if you see me, I'll probably be wearing one of these hats or something else. If you recognize me, say, hey, I have some Ghost Cult merch to give out, including these cool magnets and coasters, which my drink has been on a coaster this whole show. Gabe, DM me your address. I'll send you a little care package, buddy. So tonight I saw Torn Apart, I saw Gasket, I saw Bonginator. Justin Friends was my favorite. They did a bunch of covers of Datebreed songs, some classic thrash metal stuff, and they're going to do a completely different set this weekend. But I'm going to say they closed with South of Heaven with JB singing, and they had like Rob Dukes came out and sang, and Trevor Perez came out for an obituary song sung by Devin from Sengusagabog. And so Jamie sang South of Heaven, and they were trying, like some of the stage guys were handing papers to the crowd. It's usually the set list. This was the South of Heaven lyrics that Jamie sang from. And like, look, I be honest with you, I've heard South of Heaven a million times, and I sing the song and I love it. I sing it sometimes at karaoke. I've covered it with my band. I don't think I know this shit by heart until I hear it. So like, no shade. And I'm gonna actually bring this back with me to the fest and see if I can bump into Jamie and get him to sign it, because I think it's kind of fun. Again, no shade at all, but I just wanted to share that with you. And one of the sponsors of the festival and one of the sponsors of the festival stages is the vinyl pressing company, Copycats, and they were giving out these coasters that are made on record vinyl. So this is, kind of fucking dope. I got to be honest with you. Kind of looks like a record. It feels like a record. So I'm having a good time out here. I've been, like I said, I've been very open about my physical and mental health problems. I'm getting married in 5 weeks, 5.5 weeks. I'm moving in 3.5 weeks. So I've been going through a lot of stuff this spring, but I'm thrilled to get to do this with you all. every week and come on here and talk about metal and answer your questions. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart to be able to get to do what I do and interview bands and review stuff and talk to all of you. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to say what I say every week at this juncture of the show. It's a tough time in the world. So take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Hydrate, bitch. You do not drink enough water. Thank you, Harold. I appreciate that, man. My fiance is a dream come true type of woman. Brilliant, beautiful, everything I ever wanted. She's incredible. But like I said, please take care of yourselves because, like I talked at the top of the show, Harold, before you joined, a lot of people are taking their own lives. A lot of people are, men of a certain age, are having dire health crises, and we're not listening to the warning signs our bodies are telling us. So if you're in pain, don't shrug it off. If you've got like chest pains, if you got a toothache that's not going away, if you got some kind of problem, go see a doctor. Go to urgent care. If you think you can't pay it, they can't turn you away. I know a lot of people are choosing food over healthcare. If something's wrong, listen to your body, listen to yourself. And don't drink and drive because that's just stupid. All right, I'm out. Harold, thank you for being here. Gabe, thank you for being here. Everybody watching, thank you for being here. If you subscribe to Ghost Cult, I will subscribe back and follow you. And again, if you like any part of this, let me know. If you hate any part of this or me personally, let us know. I take all the feedback and I do something with it positive. I'm out. I'll be at Metal Fest all weekend. Peace, y'all.